What's going on, guys? Welcome back to United View. Manchester United 2, Brentford 1. Manchester United finally pick up a victory in the Premier League. It was a must-win, got the win, and to be fair, deservedly so, I would say. Manchester United did deserve to win that game. Points early on wasn't necessarily pretty. It was never going to be necessarily totally pretty, but Manchester United get the job done. Goals from Alejandro Garnacho and Rasmus Hojlund, enough to see off the bees at Old Trafford. Manchester United ensure they don't get stung. And now it's on to the next one, really, isn't it? It's on to the next one. Enjoy today for what it is, and then move on to Fenerbahce and West Ham, and hopefully put some results together, and hope Manchester United can do that indeed. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. There's quite a few finallys, actually, isn't there? There's finally Manchester United won. There's finally Manchester United scored. And hopefully, I would say largely, in terms of the press and what have you, hopefully things are just a bit quieter. You know what I mean? A bit quieter over the next few days, until the next big controversy at Manchester United. But hopefully that's the case indeed. But this is the full-time view where members can call in and have their say. If you are a member, you can call in by going over to the United View YouTube page. Go over to the community tab. You'll find the link there for members only. In addition to that, if you do wish to become a member, you can do so. Links in the video description. It's also pinned in the chat as well. Let's get straight to the calls right away. Actually, I can see people in the chat already. Yardman says that was a dominating performance. Nathaniel says we won. Let's go. Jason says finally. Abby says enjoyed the performance, the dominance rather, in the second half, and we did deserve more goals. Title charge. Joey kind of says narratives. It's what it is. Steffi Jenks says enjoy the 3 points indeed. Let's get straight to the calls. Let's go to Amanor first. Amanor, what are your thoughts on what you saw this afternoon?
I was really good, thank you, Owen. I've got
You're stunned in silence, Amador.
I am. I was looking at 2 screens by accident. Sorry about that, Owen. I fell asleep for the first 20 minutes. I'm leaving it up to my name. I'm a
snore. Yeah.
No. I have to be honest. Before I start, Owen, I'm just a bit disappointed with your lack of film knowledge. I was quite taken back.
I know it's not good. I was surprised how many people were surprised. I remember a few years ago, I think it was on one of the morning shows. I think it was Flex rattled through all these films, and then literally, I've had that my whole life. Literally, I've not known any of these films.
So just before I talk about football, have you watched the Back to the Future series?
Yes, I love Back to the Future.
Okay,
films.
so that's one of my favorite films. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we're a good standard footing then. So
yes,
that's good.
Yeah.
In terms of the game, Owen, you summarised it very well. First half, we were just pants. I think for me, the fundamental point I've got with this now is that it's a good win, and not a good win. It's a win that we needed. Anything less than that would have been disastrous, because it would have been interesting to see what Ineos would have done about that, or how the fans would have reacted. I think we know how the fans would have reacted, but it's more the case, okay, how would Ineos react with that if it was a draw or a loss? So I don't want to get carried away. It's a win, but let's be honest, right? It's Brentford at home. We should be winning these types of games. I want to give a special shout out to 2 players in particular. Matthias de Ligt, who I thought was quite awesome today. And I have been quite critical of him, especially was it the away match when he played against Porto. I thought him and
Martinez
was horrendous in that game. So to come back from that and to put a performance like that was amazing. You and KG made me laugh about when you were talking about the medical staff though in the first half. That was just beyond jokes. And even the second half, I didn't see what they did to him. So that was just.
Yeah, they just put a big dab of Vaseline on his head, I think, at half time, and that was about it.
Yeah, I mean,
it was kind of mad.
It does. You do question the competency of the backroom staff generally. We're questioning the competency of Eric Ten Hag as the manager. Well, hold on, what about the other people in the backroom staff? How good are they? So you'd hope that Ineos are considering this. But going on to the players, actually, I do want to shout out to. I know we talked about the but Garnacho. I've not been impressed with his season so far. He does score the goals, but today, from minute 1, I actually thought he was trying to be impactful when he was doing his take-ons. I thought he was more successful than that. And that first goal, that technique he did from that cross, from Rashford. That can't be
Yeah,
underestimated how
great
good,
pass, wasn't it? Yeah,
how much of a good goal that was. But I'm still of the view, Owen, that it's a game that we should win. I still think that this is going to be we're going to have a series of results where it's going to be up and down. I still think that my views of the manager hasn't changed because of this one game. There's a bigger sample size to think, but I want to enjoy this win because there's some people in the fan base that I feel like who wants us to lose. I don't think they mean that, but
yeah, I don't.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't get that.
I mean, like, we're a Man United supporters first and foremost. We're not like supporters of the manager, Owen. So for me, I'm glad with the win, but I'm not getting carried away because I still can't see, based on the first half, second half, that performance. Can we maintain that performance into the
Yeah,
next game, which is Fenerbahce away? So that's my
yeah.
question to you, Owen.
No, I think you make a good point with that. Like, I think there has to be that ability to kind of separate it, doesn't it? You know what I mean? You can separate it in terms of about today, be happy about today. In terms of, like you said, other parts of it, maybe that's going to take a bit more persuasion. But whether we can sustain it for Thursday, we don't know. I mean, we went into today's game being like we don't really know what to expect, and don't really know what to expect for Thursday. But what we have done today is like, well, it could have been much worse going into Thursday, couldn't it? We could have gone into Thursday not winning, not
Yeah.
scoring, and what they have done today, in fairness too, is go a goal down and react to it, which I didn't think that this team really even had in them anymore. And they've reacted over half time. So that is where I would give a credit to Erik ten Hag and his coaching staff by saying, actually, you have done something today which you haven't been able to do previously, which is galvanize the team at half time, which is a positive. So hopefully they continue it on. Whether they will or not, I have no idea.
No.
With this Man United team anymore. But
Have you noticed the shift in the formation now? It used to be like a 4-2-3-1 or 3-1-6. It's now 4-4-2
yeah,
almost. So I wonder if that's the influence of a Hake and a Rude, particularly in terms of he doesn't have the midfielders that he wants in there to play the 3-1-6 or the 4-2-4. So he's resorted to 4-4-2. I do wonder though, when it comes to Fenerbahce, whether he will play with that center CDM of Casemiro, Bruno, and Ericsson, because yes, there's experience there, but they don't have the legs. And I know Bruno's got the legs, but that's what I'm a bit concerned about. Can we maintain that against Thursday? And the Thursday will be the litmus test for us in terms of how Erik ten Hag approaches that game. I hope he's pragmatic. I hope he doesn't go there with the view that okay, we're going to win, or steamroll. We just need to. I think our record, Owen, in Europe is like 1 win in 10 or something ridiculous.
Something like that. That's why I said that is the next kind of, again, if we win that, it's not a case of I think you change your tune completely, but you go, well, that's a bit of a step from what I didn't necessarily expect that, it does feel like we need a couple of those sort of bigger results, something to kind of hold on to. It's quite difficult to hold on to Brentford at home, beating them. But if you can get an away win in Europe, which we just haven't been doing, you go, well, that's something for me to hold on to. I can buy into that. We've got Chelsea coming up in a few weeks at home. You go, right, if you can beat Chelsea.
My question to you though, Owen, is this is what now about the style of play and pragmatism. Will Erik ten Hag be pragmatic? That's the question. Will he be willing to sacrifice his so-called principles, which I don't know what those principles are? Say we are going to go away to Fenerbahce against Mourinho. We know what Mourinho's teams are going to be like in terms of they'll be not ruthless, but they'll be like dogmatic in their approach.
Yeah.
Can we hold on to a 0-0 for 60 minutes and then go for the win? I don't. Yeah, that's my question mark over ten Hag. So let's see what he does.
Let's see what he does indeed. Big up, Amino. Appreciate you as always calling in. Nathaniel with the super chat says, De Ligt looked like Drew McIntyre. Hell in I know that it was bleeding loads, wasn't he? Absolutely. It was. That whole situation in the first half was just a complete madness. I mean, the fact that gets the cut, goes off, and there was time added on for obviously that. And the irony is he gave away a free kick for headbutting for his knee, headbutting someone's knee, apparently. And then has the cut, goes off, comes back on. A few minutes later, goes off again. And then he has to go off again. And they concede from the corner. It was just so. If I was De Ligt at halftime, if I was Ten Hag at halftime, and I'm looking at that medical department and I am cussing them out, being like, again, you're there to do your job. What are you doing? And I know he got the blob of Vaseline. I did see someone in the chat say that maybe he got some, like, stitches at halftime. Maybe, I mean, KG did mention it in the game. Maybe because it was only a few minutes left before halftime, they thought, oh, we'll just sort of put something on it and we'll do it at halftime. We're going to stitch him up at halftime. But hurt Man United. Luckily, Manchester United recovered from it. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Show. Show, what are your thoughts on the victory this afternoon?
Yeah, it's a good 3 points. Like, again, like it's a small picture, big picture, small picture. We needed to win the game today. I mean, you can't be stuck on single-digit points forever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, it was the first half was horrible. But I think it was refreshing to actually see us to score at the start of the second half rather than the opposition, because that's what normally happens. Normally we come out of second half and the opposition scores in the first 5 minutes. We flipped it, so I think that helped us getting that early goal, and we dominated the second half. So yeah, we deserve to win the game. Obviously, it's not like, look, I'm not ecstatic about the win, but like, we needed it. That's it. So like, we needed the 3 points. We got the 3 points. We moved. That's it. Fenerbahce away, West Ham away, much tougher test.
Yeah, I mean, the Fenerbahce one's going to be really interesting, isn't it? I mean, from just a league perspective, if we look at our next league games, obviously West Ham away, we saw how they played today. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, do you think? Is it a good thing in the sense of they're really out of form, they're not playing well? Or is it a bad thing like, well, Lopetegui's got to get a reaction and Kudus isn't playing, so they've got to do something different? Like, does that worry you, or is it a good time to play him?
Honestly, we're that kind of side, where I don't really look at the opposition, because it doesn't matter who we play in what form that they're in, because we know we can lose against crap teams, good teams, mid-table teams, all types of teams. We lose against all of them. So I think, look, West Ham, I mean, arguably, I don't know what it's like within their fan base. Arguably, their manager's probably under more pressure than ours. I don't know if West Ham fans are saying that. I don't know.
From what I've seen with some of the West Ham fans, I think they're like baffled by some of the things that Lopetegui's doing. You know what I mean? I think, which is funny because it is a case of be careful what you wish for, because a lot of them did want David Moyes out. But
it's funny because, like, I think when it comes to Brits, we're not so, maybe I'm being generalistic. I don't feel like we're so aware of football outside England. So I think people hear the name Lopetegui and they think tiki-taka football, but Lopetegui's a pragmatic manager, always has been. So I don't know what they're expecting, but yeah, look, you'd think, look, losing 4-1, I don't know if they call it a London derby, but I guess it is. They're going to respond at home. And we know our away record is shoddy against anyone. Again, under Ten Hag, we've lost more away games than we've won. So it doesn't really matter who we play. So I think that's just the key. Again, it's just, for me, look, I'm at a point where I'm not going to come on here, even if we lose, and say Ten Hag out. Like, I've been way past that. Like, I don't have faith in the manager long term. That's not going to change for me. But it's just week on week, just get the wins. When we lose, we lose. When we win, we win. It is what it is. Just, while Ten Hag's here, he's here. When he goes, he goes. Like, that's it. Like, I've given up caring about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, and I suppose looking towards today as well, given some of the concerns that maybe we did have going into the game about, like Mbuemu or whatever, I suppose a positive could be that actually in the second half, they were largely kept pretty quiet. I mean, it's Man United, so you always have those moments where you go, oh, I'm a bit concerned here. But as far as second half, we actually were largely in control of the game. Is maybe the concern, or the frustration rather, that why can't you do that most of the time? Why can't you control games? Why does it have to be, like you could concede a penalty against Southampton, wake yourself up. You concede a goal against Brentford, you wake yourself up. Why do you think that's the case?
I just think that's what we are. It's not like, the thing is, we can't say this is our form. I mean, it depends what people classify different lengths of matches as form, whether it's 5 games, 10. This isn't our form. We've been in this for 18 months where we can win a couple games, lose a couple, win a couple, then draw, win 2, draw 1, lost 1. That's just what we are. If you look at our league form of the last 18 months, it puts us mid-table. So it's not like, that's why it's not like a surprise where we might win 2 games and then the loss comes. It's what we are. Hence why we are at this stage where we take it week by week. When we win, we win. And when you take a win against a team like Brentford, you don't go like, oh my God, we're back and all this kind of stuff. You go, all right, yeah, we won. We deservedly won today, which was nice, because you get sick of the jing, Fleck will say the jing bang wins. You know what I mean?
And that wasn't
But
what it was today. We deserved
it definitely wasn't. Like Brentford, they did nothing second half, absolutely nothing. So yeah, we deserved it today. But again, there's a lot tougher games to come. Like we've got like a tough fixture list coming up. So yeah, it is what it is. Just take it one game at a time.
And also, I suppose as well, going into the next game, there's always pressure on United. But from a manager, player perspective, it probably is nice to be like, well, we can go into that game with not the constant thing of being like, all right, this is going to be the last game for Ten Hag, or this is going to be, you know what I mean? Where we kind of go, well, it won't be. And there's a bit of less pressure because, as we've said, it's just at this stage, it's just about results, isn't it? Just about get results. Can you get results? And the more results you get, the less pressure there's going to be, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, because look, this time last year, I was saying to you, I want to see the better performances. But if I'm not seeing it by now from Ten Hag, I'm never gonna see it. So I've given up on that under this manager. Hence why I say long-term picture, I don't have faith in the guy. Like, but short-term, let's get the wins where we can get the wins and enjoy them. And when we lose, then we lose. Like that's just what it is, isn't it?
And just finally, any players that stood out to you individually today?
I thought at least the wingers today tried to create for the other players, which was a nice change because we're so shoot on sight all the time, and it doesn't help the team whatsoever. So at least Rashford and Garnacho trying to set up chances and create chances for once was actually quite nice, and that's what led to the goals. So yeah, I think them two probably the standouts for me.
Yeah, I would agree. Big up show. Appreciate you as always calling in. What people in the chat saying. Chris says the result takes pressure off them. It'll be back to the usual from the next game. They still need to pull out a win again. I think that's exactly it. You know what I mean? It's very much, okay, good. On to the next one. There's pressure on. That's what I maybe didn't articulate myself properly. There's pressure on because there's always pressure on, but there's not the pressure of a defeat on. You know what I mean? Or a draw on, because that would have been with the results we haven't had recently. It would have been a nightmare, but it just eases a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. It's your boy says Rashford played better defense today. I thought Rashford did well today. Rashford, like the show said, Rashford and Garnacho on the wings, I thought did well. Rashford's pass for the Garnacho goal was good. Garnacho, you would still say maybe work on your finishing a bit, but it's no coincidence whenever he plays, he does get a lot of change out of, particularly if he's on the left. Gets a lot of the ball, goes at the fullbacks, does beat the fullbacks more often than not. It's just about end product, isn't it? But hopefully that will come. But yeah, it's a deserved win for United today. How many likes are we currently at the moment, by the way? We've got over 500 people watching. We're over 100 likes. Let's see if we can get the likes up even more. Let's move on to another call. Let's go to Chol Boy Comics. We're talking about win finally. How did you see the game this afternoon?
Oh, Owen, I'm very happy. I'm very happy today. Good to see you. I don't know if you've heard the album "Made in Heaven" by Queen. They have a song called "Beautiful Day," and it goes, "It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining."
I thought you were going to sing like U2 or something like that. I thought you were going to go like U2, you beautiful day or whatever. But
no, the problem with U2
is a beautiful day.
Is they force feed us all the albums and no one actually wants them. It always just comes in Apple Music.
Oh my god, that was horrible.
That's gaming the system. That's a J-Bang album sale right there.
Yeah,
you know?
It really is. It really is.
But no, today was actually really good. I'm really happy with the team because we got the results. Because we did not need to be under pressure again. We had to win that game. And what I loved about this game is it forced us to dig deep and to actually fight back and get the result. As you mentioned, the first about 20, 30 minutes, we were a little bit passive in the way we defended. And then I thought things started to turn around as the half started to go along, and just having that last-minute set-piece goal when we're down to 10 men was unfortunate. But it's almost emblematic of our current situation, where even the medical staff is feeling pressure to treat someone instead of just having a relaxed mind saying, let's deal with this and get him back on properly. There's a whole pressure cooker situation where they're like, oh, we have to get him. We can't lose. And that just comes from a club that's just under pressure. So which is why when the fight back came, it was good to see us score, as Sho said, start of the second half. And I want to also put to rest the tired argument that we did not have a style of play. drives me insane. We have a style of play. We build up from the back, a little bit asymmetrical overload on one side in order to force a switch to our winger. We then task that winger with two decisions, either to attack their fullback and get to the byline and then wait for support, or to perform a second switch to the other winger. Like I mentioned, we did it with Liverpool did it with Robbo and Trent. We do it with Rashford, Garnacho, Ahmad, Garnacho. That's our style of play, and then we try to flood the box for the final take. So the first goal came from that switch of play that Rashford played into Garnacho. It's encouraged. We scored against Liverpool like that in the FA Cup, I believe, and we also scored the goal we scored against Man City also came from that winger switch where we then overload the box. So it was really good. I want to shout out Marcus Rashford's performance. I think him, Casemiro, Dalot to an extent, other than his mess up for the set piece, and and Ligt, I'll say, were probably the standout performers of today. But Rashford really impressed me because of his work rate defensively. There were times when Dalot would bomb forward, and Rashford was diligent in his duty to cover for his teammates. So I really like that team spirit. Although, just to point out a couple negatives to just show the fine margins of the game, we have worked so hard in the second half to get to the point where we're about to finish the game. We're about to cross the line. And what do we do at the death? We let a ball bounce in our box without attacking it, and we almost concede from that. If Brentford scores that goal, what are we saying now? Are we going to be blaming Ten Hag? Are we going to be saying the players don't have the mentality? What would we be saying? It comes down to very, very fine margins. So I want, and also when you look at Dalot's, when he lost his runner on the set piece and they scored, just like that, all your work can be taken away from you. So I want us to go back with the coaching staff and look at those moments and iron them out. But I just want more of the same against Fenerbahce, because that's going to be a very, very tough game for anyone. So, yeah, but overall, very happy today.
What do you think he's got to go with when it comes to the Fenerbahce one? Because obviously today we saw that back four, which did surprise a few people for the game, seeing Martinez at left back, which actually, upon reflection, he didn't really have a lot to do actually against Mbuemi really throughout the majority of the game. Do you think it's just going to be a case of Mazraoui comes in? I mean, he did come on second half, or could he stick as is going to Fenerbahce?
So it depends on the health condition of Mazraoui. If he's fit to play and everything's cleared and he's training well, I think he'll come back into the team. And I think Johnny Evans will drop out, not because he doesn't deserve to be on the team on merit, but I just don't know if his legs will be able to recover by Thursday. And so maybe it's a case of managing the load, because he did mention in his interview with Reddy that recovery was quite tough. So he was happy for the international break. So him playing back-to-back games, I think, could be tough. Obviously, it depends if his body can hold up. But I think he will drop out. We'll see De Ligt and Martinez come back inside, and then have Dalot and Mazraoui. So that's what I think will happen. But again, it depends on who's fit, who's firing. I just hope that Ten Hag can find a way to integrate Ahmad into the team, because I really feel that we need his offensive and defensive output. I think Garnacho has been playing well, but again, I come back to the point where it seems like it's a recurring thing where at the end of his run, he gets tired and off balance. So his shot is always an off balance shot. So his finishing is suffering. So I think he just needs more power in his legs, better endurance, and just a little bit more composure. So I want to see them, work on him with that. But I think, in my opinion, I think Garnacho is better at this moment as a impact sub, and then having Ahmad start. So Ahmad, Rashford, and then Garnacho coming on. But again, if we're winning and we're scoring, no complaints from me. Let's just keep going. But I think it's going to be largely the same. Maybe is Bruno suspended for the game on Thursday?
Well, he got the red card, didn't he, before? So I would think so, actually. Yeah, probably.
Yes.
So I suppose that's interesting. What do you think happens
Exactly.
there then? Do we see Eriksen going to a 10 maybe? And
Eriksen, Casemiro, Ugarte, I think, is what we will play. And I think Eriksen brings out the best in Bruno, because he's, like I said before, he's forced to actually play good football. So I think with the legs of the legs of Ugarte covering for Eriksen, and then Casemiro's progressive passes from deep and Eriksen a little bit higher, I think that could work out well. Maybe an alternative is to bring Ahmad into the 10, which I doubt Erik ten Hag will do. But I think largely we should keep the same squad. Maybe those three in the middle: Hojlund, I'm excited for Hojlund because, as we've discussed many times, Owen, it seems like he scores and runs. So he's picking up form at the best time when we're going into a tough period against Fenerbahce. So yeah, I'm pretty confident. Although any team can lose against Fenerbahce at their place, so I don't want us to overreact. For me, I'll be looking at the performance firstly. But obviously, I do want the result. Even if we have a bad performance and we get away with the result, I'll take that. But ultimately, I don't think a loss is beyond like the realm of possibility. So I don't want us to overreact. If that happens, we should just judge the players. But I think for, I saw on your on the few chats that you've had, on the past shows, you guys obviously have made your feelings clear about the manager not wanting him, and you say, what are we going to talk about? Maybe what we talk about now is highlighting the players that did well in the previous week, in the lead up to the next week. That way we can maybe build confidence as a channel and hype our players up. Maybe that's an option. So we move away from the manager focus and focus on Rashford doing well. And,
And again, that goes back to my original point with all that kind of stuff, which is, if you're winning games, then you're not going to be talking about pressure on people, are you? Because you're doing what you're meant to be doing. Exactly. And if we lose games, like I do agree with what you're saying with Fenerbahce. But if we don't win that game, we're not out of the Europa League. You know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. If we lost today,
that would have been a problem
because it's inevitable not to. But like you said, you want to have those conversations about you're winning games, and even if it's about players that aren't playing that great, you would prefer to have those conversations of, all right, how do we get the best out of that player? How do we do the best out of that? But when it's negative results, it's difficult because everyone has to have accountability, I suppose. But the key thing today certainly is that we don't have to have those conversations today because we won. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And now, I suppose it's going to be my next question. Looking at these league games we've got coming up, West Ham, they're in a difficult place at the moment. After that, in the league, we've got Chelsea and we've got Leicester before the next international break. Do you see favourable fixtures there, or is it still a case of we're not really sure what United's going to show up?
So again, it really just depends on us. What Man United do we bring to the table? If we attack every game with the intensity we play the second half with, I think we could beat all of those teams. However, if we play like we did in the first 20 minutes against Chelsea, we could be 2-0 down by the time, we've started to get going. So I think the main thing is getting our early goals, because another point you brought up in the past, you said our XG for expected goals, we're underperforming our XG for goals scored, but we're overperforming our XG for goals allowed. So you say on balance, it's where our goal difference is 0. However, -2 actually. But the problem with that is it doesn't take into account the game state and how players play at different score lines. Because if we score our goals early on, we don't have to be as open. We can let the other team take all the risks and then we can pick them off, right? The problem comes when you've missed all your chances and then the other team has momentum. As Man United, we're going to expect our team to still have to go and score. We don't have the luxury of saying, we've missed all our chances for the game. Let's just sit back and hunker down. So we're put ourselves under pressure to keep chasing that goal, which leaves us more open and more susceptible to us conceding those chances. So they're related. But I think if we just manage to get those early goals, start off really quickly, I have confidence that we'll beat all those teams. So it's just a matter of the attitude and the willingness to fight for each other. That's a non-negotiable. As much as Ten Hag should be under pressure for the results because he's the manager, the players have to make sure that they earn their shirt, earn the name on the back of their shirt, because we shouldn't be too easy on them and say, you're a Man United player, so some days you can try, other days you can't. No. You have to try every single game. You guys are under pressure. Get your results, fight for the team. And I have confidence that we could win all those games, but it depends on the requisite intensity and effort from our team.
Absolutely. Big up Chol Boy Comics. Appreciate you as always. Super chat here says Dallo's trying to get Ten Hag fired. The better his relationship gets with Ronaldo, the worse he plays for Ten Hag. I think that might be a bit tinfoil hat, that one, to be honest with you. I don't think Diogo Dallo is going out of his way to throw games in an effort to get Erik ten Hag sacked because he's friends with Ronaldo. That is a new one. I'm not sure I've heard that one. I don't think that's really the case. What are people saying here in the chat at the moment? Redwan says, "Whoa, Chala, can't mention negatives from first half. How dare you? How dare you? With those rules, yeah, have been firmly established." One here says, our players need to help each other. Ability-wise, we are solid. We need good chemistry and team play. What else are people saying here? Skiliana says, top teams don't lose to Fenerbahce. I don't know. I think the one in the week with the Fenerbahce one, it'd be really good for United to win that. I feel like we need that, particularly because our record in Europe's so bad at the moment. It's a bit like, when we played Galatasaray last year, and it was like, I tell you what, because teams can go there and lose. If we go there, we get that win. That would be good for us. And we went there and was it 1-0 up or 2-0 up, and we still blew it, and it was so disappointing. But if we lose, it's the thing is with any defeat and any victory, it's the manner of which it happens. You know what I mean? If you're unlucky, then you're unlucky. But if you've roundly defeated, it's a bit different. Another one here says Xerxes is still better than Hojlund. Yes, Rasmus Hojlund scored today. However, Xerxes offers us more up front. Xerxes starts scoring, Hojlund is finished. Why do players need to be finished? This is what I didn't get to after Hojlund scored, but it immediately turned into Xerxes didn't do that, or Xerxes wouldn't do that. And it's like, why is the immediate, and especially speaking of negative, why is the immediate reaction once a player does score of saying, well, this player wouldn't score that? Surely the better thing to focus on there is actually the player that did score. Because we haven't been scoring all that much recently, have we? Let's get to another call. Let's go to Eminem. What are your thoughts on this afternoon?
Hey, Owen. Yeah, it was a good win. A lot of pressure off Ten Hag. Well, yeah, a lot of pressure off Ten Hag today. But first half we were trying. We were working hard, but we couldn't seem to get it together. And just like United's what that thing with the Ligt is a reflection of what United is today. That going off 3 times and going off the 3rd time, and then we can see the goal. But the reaction after that, straight away within, I think it was in 2 minutes, getting a goal after half time. That was such a good cross from Rashford, and a good shot from Garnacho on the volley. And then, the momentum was on our side. It just felt like, it didn't feel like the team, the team is definitely playing for Ten Hag, but it didn't feel like we were going to lose unless it was from a player mistake. Overall, I am happy. However, I still feel that this was a survival win. The way we played, I don't think is sustainable. Especially, just for an example, like Rashford playing deep on the right side, I don't think that's sustainable because he is an attacker, and I don't think Ten Hag can find a way for all 3 of his attackers to be constantly driving in and trying to create chances and score goals. If he does that, then obviously the midfield will have to push forward and the rest of the team has to push forward, and that's when we're at our
Disappeared. Yeah, difficult one. It was. To be honest, the amount that I don't trust Virgin Media is, I thought it was me. Immediately, I thought, oh, this one's gonna be me. But it wasn't. It wasn't me. Rare. Oh, we'll take it. We'll take that. We'll take it. But I think we got the gist of what Eminem was saying there. Apparently Arsenal down to 10 men against Saliba. Although, as KG said during the match view, which did tickle me, he was saying, no, we need Bournemouth drop points. They're our rivals. They're our rivals in there. Which is kind of true, I suppose. Oh, Eminem's back. Let's see if this works out again. Eminem, you've returned.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I got a call before when I was explaining and I cut it off. It seems like you're screwed with my mic. Where did I end?
I think you were saying about how we reacted in the second half.
Oh, that was okay. Yeah, we had a good reaction, and uh, yeah, what I thought was like this is a survival win. It doesn't feel like a consistent win that because the way we played, Rashford or playing deep in the right, it doesn't seem sustainable. The way he was playing, I mean, like it seemed like if he was going to get a chance at goal, he would have to like run. Like he whenever we had a counter attack, it will be Garnacho up front, Garnacho most forward. Then it'll be Hojlund, Bruno, and then maybe Ericsson, and then Rashford would be lagging behind, and that's because he's ever so deep, which I felt was weird, but it worked today, and for me, he was actually the man of the match. Actually, it was him and Ligt, to be honest. Um, However, if we can carry on this with Fenerbahce, that'd be great. At the end of the day, I don't think Ten Hag's the guy, but if some sort of miracle happens and he is the guy and we continue winning, that would be amazing. But yeah, I thought it was a good win.
How do you see these next few games then going? Obviously, let's take out the Fenerbahce game. West Ham in the league. We've got Chelsea at home, Leicester at home. Is there a possibility we can put like a run together in the league, or is it still quite uncertain?
There is always a possibility. However, the record being in Europe and just general Ten Hag's away record is absolutely poor, even from the first season. So I don't expect it to happen, but if he can pull it off, I mean, he's got a new coaching staff, and say as a team, as a unit, they can actually get something together. That'll be amazing. But I don't see it happening. So we haven't really seen the so-called positive effect of the new coaching staff yet. But this probably could be the time. I mean, it's all on Erik ten Hag's shoulders now, and to push us forward. And if it doesn't happen, I do actually see more realistic. What I see is happening is that we draw against Fenerbahce, and then we got West Ham, and I think we might lose against them, even though they're playing poor right now. I was watching the Tottenham game, but they still can actually build up, and if they do build up against us, and I think they could get through us. It's really up to us how we produce against them. But realistically, I think we're just gonna have the odd win, but draws and another few losses maybe.
So a mixed bag we're looking at, possibly from Eminem. Big up to you. Hey, we've got another super chat. I think these super chats as how people think that I was thinking after the game, to be honest, because these super chats are proper negative. Garnacho was 5 out of 10 today. Yes, the chance he scored was difficult. However, every other chance is what we expect a winger to get. He wasted. No, I mean, he scored a good goal. He's young. We know that he needs to improve on his end product. I think that the more intangibles that Garnacho can do, like how he gets a lot of the ball, he does go up fullbacks, he does make it difficult for fullbacks, or he gets himself in those positions to get the ball into the box or take chances. If he wasn't getting into those positions, I'd be more concerned. I'd be worried about that going. He's really not offering all that much. But I feel like the fact he's getting into those positions is good. I kind of agree with what Eminem was saying previously in that, and this is kind of what Chol Boy was sort of saying earlier, is a lot goes down the left, and maybe it would be a bit better if it was a bit more balanced, because Rashford's on the right today, and sometimes it is like you go, Rashford hasn't really touched the ball in like 10 minutes. Not that any fault of his own, just everything's kind of just going down the left-hand side. And even sometimes he goes over to the left just to try and double up, I think just to get involved, or have an overlap or support Garnacho. But Garnacho, even in the starts of the season we've had and the lack of goals we have scored, how many of them has Garnacho actually scored? He scored quite a few of them. He's our top goal scorer, I think, for a reason, isn't he? So, yeah, I don't get that. And I think also when it comes to Rashford, maybe because we're hoping to see him bounce back into what he was a couple of seasons ago. Don't know if he can do that. But I think actually largely this season he started pretty well. Played well against Day, not on the left, on the right for the majority of the game. He does create. He got an assist for the Garnacho goal. And, I think he He's been playing better. Again, there's still it's a very low bar that we got aimed towards, but I think he has been playing better. And another super chat says Rashford played well today, and I'm a Rashford hater for saying this. Bruno managed to arrest his bad form, and I'm happy for him. Look, I think that it's positive. Man United again won today because it was the very minimum. The last thing we needed going into that Fenerbahce game was another negative result. And it's kind of the same coming out of the Fenerbahce one. It's a more difficult test, but you kind of feel like, oh, the last thing they need again is something negative. Even if it was a draw against Fenerbahce, I do think, again, depending on the manner of it, it would be like, all right, take that, move on. Because it feels like at the moment it is very much like the league form needs to be a bit more addressed, really. So look, we can enjoy the weekend. Well, enjoy the not only the weekend, but until Thursday, and see how we go from there. So there you go. And Supatch says top goal scorer of 2 goals. Get out of it. Is that it with Garnacho? I think he scored more goals in all comps, hasn't he? Let's have a look. Garnacho stats 24, 25. Still got last season. Let's have a look. He's got 5 goals, actually. 5 goals in all comps this season. Alejandro Garnacho. So because what was as bad as Man United started the season, he actually started all right in scoring some goals. So he is a threat. He is a threat, no doubt about it. But there you go, guys. That's the full-time view for you. Appreciate everyone that's called in. Appreciate everyone that's got involved in the chat. Be sure to smash a like button. Be sure to subscribe as well, bottom right-hand corner. Be sure to check out KG on his channel, and also be sure to check out all of the fan views and player ratings, etc., coming from outside Old Trafford. And we'll be back tomorrow, I think, for a special edition of the full view, because that's moved around all over the place because we tried to have it on Thursdays and then Europa League games are on Thursdays, and it's a whole thing. So anyway, guys, we're out of here. Have a good one. Peace.